Hi everyone, it's Chris at Cork and Crown again, staying on with the perry tastings that we've been doing for the past few days. Another perry for us today, and a cheese, and I have retired the Comté. We could have kept going with it, but I felt it had passed its peak. 6 days in the shed. I think today it got up to 40 odd degrees in here. It was a boiling hot day today, hottest of the year so far. Very warm indeed. So yeah, the cheese got up to about 40 degrees, I think, which isn't ideal storage conditions for cheese. Still fine to eat. I still happily eat it, but I just feel it's probably, you know, it's done its duty. Let's retire it honourably. So I have a new cheese. What should we talk about first? Let's talk about the perry first, then I'll talk about the cheese. So, perry is from Cwm Maddoc. There they are, Cwm Maddoc. It says perry on the front, just in case you're in any doubt as to what was in this bottle. And on the back it says Betty Prosser. Betty Prosser. 2019 medium sweet perry. So Betty Prosser, very rare varietal, critically rare. I mentioned that before. We tried the 2018 previously, which I liked a lot. So now we're going to try the 2019. It's the first bottle of this I've opened. So that's exciting, isn't it? So before I do that, let's go on to talk quickly about the cheese. So in this little parcel, I have some more cheese. So this cheese, I've gone for a soft, fresh cheese, youthful cheese, something completely different to the Comté. So let's unwrap it and have a look. So I was in Borough Market this morning. I was actually unloading a load of pitchfork cheddars and Galway fillies that I'll be selling next week for the Trethowans. First delivery that I received, so that was quite fun. But I was there. I went along to Mons Cheesemongers, my other employer, and got a bit of cheese. So I got a bit warm in the bag. As I said, today was a very warm day. But hopefully you can see this little guy. I don't know if you can see that. Is it too bright? Too bright. Let's see if I can get it off the paper and show you properly. Okay. Here is a little fresh cheese. You can just see the wrinkles on the rind there? So this is a rind ripened cheese. It's got some nice bloomy rinds on the outside. That wrinkly stuff is called Geotrichum, Penicillium geotrichum. It's my favourite mould. I'm allowed to have a favourite mould because I'm a cheesemonger. Good way to break the ice at parties. What's your favourite mould? Mine's Geotrichum. Difficult mould to get right. It's tricky conditions. It likes tricky conditions. Humidity, temperature, blah blah blah. But the flavour it gives is fantastic. I love it. It's probably, if you ever had like a Loire Valley goat's cheese, those wrinkly rinds, same stuff. Gives you quite a nutty, mushroomy, earthy. I find it very hard to describe it in terms other than it tastes like Geotrichum. I know what that flavour is and I love it. Anyway, people who don't like goat's cheese, it's probably the Geotrichum flavour they don't like, or the fact that it's a badly made goat's cheese and therefore tastes of soap. Because that's what happens if you make goat's cheese badly. It ends up tasting of soap, and it shouldn't taste of soap. So if you had soapy goat's cheese, it wasn't a very good cheese, and it shouldn't taste like that. So this is Castillon Frais. This is from Provence. It's sheep's milk. So that's interesting. A lot of people think they haven't had sheep's milk cheese, but they have. If you've had proper feta, sheep's milk, sometimes blended with goats, maybe cows as well. I don't know. Or Roquefort, that's sheep's milk. Has to be all sheep's milk. Particular breed, Lacon as well. So yeah, there you go. This is made from the milk of Sada. It's a Sardinian breed basically that were taken over to the Provence, which is a very similar landscape to Sardinia, by the grandfather of the people who currently make the cheese. Sheep's milk is very rich, very fatty. It's got double the solids of other cheeses, much more fat. But you get so much less milk out of a sheep that you almost need more solids in it to make it worthwhile making some cheese. So, you know, a sheep can make 1-2 litres of milk a day. That's it. So, you know, if it didn't give you the extra solids, it simply wouldn't be worthwhile. But using the most expensive cheese in any shop, it's probably going to be a sheep's cheese, simply because you get so little milk out of a sheep for almost just as much work as a cow or a goat, you know, but you got a lot less end product. When I tried this before, so these sheep graze on out on pasture, a lot of herbs and stuff growing around in that part of the world. And last time I had this, there was a certain herbaceous character to it, vegetal character to it for sure. So let's see what we get today when we try it. Anyway, let's do the Paris first. So if you can hear lots of shouting, there's lots of people in gardens probably been drinking throughout the day in the hot weather. So there's sort of noise in the background. Let's have a look. So first weapon of choice, bottle opener. So no cork on this. A little bit of fizz. You can see the bubbles coming up there. You see that? Nice. So this is hazy, ergo unfiltered, as pretty much most of the stuff I sell. Wild yeast, 5.3%. That's a nice, sensible percentage. Like something 8.4s I've been going through, which I don't mind at the time, but the next day just make me feel rotten usually. So yeah, let's pour this out. I'll lift that up for you so you can see. So yeah, nice little mousse on that. Looking pretty going into the glass. Looks like a nice sparkling wine. So this will be pet nat. So, you know, final fermentation in bottle to give you the bubbles. So what do we think? Actually, quite clear. Quite clear. Some nice bubbles in there. I would say that's a very pale gold. Very pale gold indeed. Let's have a sniff. Oh wow. I love the nuts. So the Betty Prosso I had before had great nose. And immediately I'm getting something similar off this one. So it's almost like a pastry-ish kind of aromatics. There's definitely fresh pear in there. But there's definitely like a pastry, bread, yeast, dough kind of thing going on in there as well, which I like a lot. Yeah, primarily what I'm getting is like a yeasty character with the sort of fresh pear character. Very nice, very nice. Not a green pear, like a ripe pear. Yeah, love it. The other thing I got on the last one was a kind of slightly oxidative sherry character, which I really liked. I like sherry. I didn't get it off when I'd first opened the bottle, but as it sat, you'd start to get that character coming through. So maybe I'll give it another sniff at the end, see if I can pick up that at all. Pick up on that at all. Right. I could smell this all day. Sometimes I can just smell something before I taste it, because I get so much pleasure out of the aromatics. It smells great. Really rich, round, yeah, really nice. And I think, yeah, just in the background, there is a hint of that sherry character. Okay. It's not that sweet. There's a hint of sugar. It's nice, just a little bit. Like I said, it's always up to the producer what they classify as medium and sweet. It's up to their own palate. It says medium sweet. I think that's pushing it. I would go medium, to be honest with you. But nice acidity as well, like fresh apple acidity, certainly. And I'm getting a hint of that oxidative character as well that I got in the last one. Some minerality there, so you know, wet stone, lick, minerality. It's quite rich, but the acidity is there to balance that richness. Much less austere than the thorn pears that we've been having. Much less austere, richer, rounder. Why did Betty Prosso pears stop being used to make pear, I wonder? Why is it so few trees knocking about? I mean, maybe just they're a pain in the backside to harvest, you know, something like that. I mean, sometimes people, or maybe the certain diseases or something they're prone to, or I don't know. So sometimes people go, you know what, stop using that, it's too much, it's too difficult, and your life's too short. But it makes great perry, from what I've had. Certainly it does in the hands of Jeremy Harris, the cider / perry maker at Cwm Maddoc. Great nose. Really interesting, love it. Right, let's get into this cheese. Second weapon of choice. And it's a new weapon of choice. Let me just show you. So here's. So this is my cheese knife. It's a pretty special knife because it has a corkscrew on it. Everyone needs a corkscrew, of course, for obvious reasons. But it also has something else on it, which is pretty unusual. It has. Let me just get this blade out of the way. This thing on it. Now, what's that? You may ask. What is that, Chris? I can hear you asking that. Well, I'll tell you what it is. It's a cheese iron. So what's a cheese iron? Cheese iron is the thing that you use to take a core sample from larger cheeses. You wouldn't use it on a little cheese like this. You wouldn't need to. You have to cut one open and eat it. But cheddars, Comté, Buffalo, big boys, you know. So this is like a dinky version. So what you do is you push it in, you rotate it, you pull it out, and you have a core sample of cheese on your cheese iron, which you can then take a bit off, eat it, and then you push that back in, seal it, bingo, like you were never there. So this is my cheese knife with a cheese iron. There you go. I've got bigger ones as well, but it's kind of cool, this one. Right, knife. Let's have a go at this. Castillon Frais. Looks great. This runny stuff, it's just, I mean, it's got warm, but it's started to run underneath the rind, where the moulds are breaking it down, making it a bit more liquid and gooey. So, really bright and fresh inside. Look at that. There's that rind. There's that fresh plump inside. Quite white in colour. Sheep and goats don't have beta carotenes from their feed, from fresh food, grass, so forth, plants, whatever, and they convert it into vitamin A. And it's yellow in colour. It's what makes carrots orange. Cows don't convert it into vitamin A. So cow's milk, it comes out in cow's milk, the beta carotene, so you can see it looks more yellow. So if you see cheese which are much more yellow, or cheese which is more white, the yellow one's probably going to be cow's milk, the white one's going to be sheep or goat. There you go, fact. Okay, let's try this. Really light and moussey. Amazing texture. Nice acidity. Hint of salt, but it's just right. Like I said before, it's integrated. It's not salt and cheese. There's salt in there, but it's integrated flavour. Rich, hot in your mouth, even though it's light, because it's sheep's milk, so it's fatty, but in a good way, trust me. Really nice. And now I'm starting to get celery salt. Celery, fenugreek celery. I mean, it's obvious. I've never had a cheese that tasted so obviously of a vegetable as this. This tastes like celery on the back end. Like, it's incredible. It's bizarre. They do eat a lot of herbs and so forth. You know, they're foraging basically around. Goats are browsers rather than grazers, so they browse, they eat lots of different things, which means you can get all sorts of interesting flavours in the milk because they eat certain things, and the flavour will end up in the milk. And, you know, like this, for example, but I've never tasted anything so obvious as this. I'm going to have another bit and have this. It's really nice, this cheese. Proper, this and this are proper hot weather, summer food and drinks. It's just great. Perfect for this sort of weather. Really good. I'm so lucky that I get to do this. A bit of this. And I think that's rather nice. Pears and cheese tend to go very well together. The sheep's milk is very rich and fatty. There's some bubbles in there, scrubs the palate. There's acidity in it as well, as much as the acidity in the fresh cheese. Younger cheese are always going to have higher acidity. Yeah, superb. Really, really good combination. I mean, they're both kind of light, so they're not going to crash like heavyweights. They're not going to bash into each other, but still they complement each other very, very well. If you were sitting in a park, drinking that and eating that, you'd be a happy person. I'm sitting in the shed doing it, and I'm a happy person. So, cool. Cool. All right, I'm going to charge my glass once more. I hope you found that interesting. If you live in London, in South London, get yourself down to Mon's Cheesemongers, be it in Dulwich or in Borough Market, or go to their website and order it on the online shop that I had to build for them in a very big hurry. You can get it. You can get some. Order it. Cool. Betty Prosser, bit harder, I'm afraid. Bit harder. Yeah, unless you happen to live close to where I live, you ain't going to be picking this up anytime soon. But it's an interesting thing. I do sell it to the lucky few who can get to me to get it. But if you do get a chance, highly recommended. Highly recommended. Guys, okay, bit of a longer one again today, 15 minutes, but I think it was worth it for all the delicious stuff I had to try and to talk about. Okay, so back again tomorrow or in the next couple of days. I hope to see you then. Until then, as always, cheers.